All right, so welcome everybody to the first Zoom. I will be grabbing a Pomeranian in a second because he's trying to get to his air conditioner over there. My name is Jessica Jake. I'll be facilitating. We have Kathy Pop and Nilu. We're going to be your expert panelists today, talking about their favorite ways to connect to source and spirit. And I'll be keeping an eye out for more people joining in. I will grab that little barky pants in just a second. That's Theodore causing all kinds of commotions over there. Apologies for that. I'm admitting some more people here. And we have 12:02 or wherever you are in the world, we're 2 minutes past. So I'm going to mute myself and hand it over to Kathy Pop to take us through her favorite method of connecting to source. Hey, Kathy.
Okay. Hi, I'm Kathy Pop, and I've seen spirit since as long as I can remember. So, and I've never been afraid. It's always been relatives. I've been to more funerals and weddings growing up. My late teens, a reoccurring theme in my life was doing rescue work and helping spirits cross over. So I'm better with that than actually giving messages for some reason. So that's about it. That's about it for me in a nutshell. My the favorite way I connect to my spirit guides is just talking to them. Nothing special. I just sit there. I talk to them. When I first started, I had a hard time learning or getting anything back, and I eventually learned that to drop any expectations. I'm thinking I'm going to hear them, I'm going to see them, and that wasn't going to be. So they're going to communicate the way they want to. And once I dropped the expectation, I would get something popping in my head while I did dishes or fed the animals or did something busy work physically, but not mentally. And so after time, the answers just came quicker and quicker until now I can ask a question, a few seconds, I'll get an answer. As far as source or as far as spirit goes, I just expand my energy. I ground myself and anchor. And then I open up all my chakras, and then I expand that energy out into the room. The method I like the best for spirit is to have them stand next to me, either with their hand on my shoulder, just standing there. I really prefer having the direct method. I don't want to go through a guide. And you know how when you tell stories over and over to people, they kind of get messed up a little. I just want to hear it directly from them, and so I can relay it just as they gave it to me. So I just keep things as simple as possible. Yes, that's about it.
Simple is always great.
It is. You don't have to remember all these steps, complicated steps, and it always changes as I go along and learn something new. It's like, well, let me try this and see if I like this way better. So I'm always trying something new. And I love hearing what other people do and how they do it, because then I might want to try that.
Right. Good. Yeah. So what would be your tips for someone who wants to try yours out? If you're just going to break it down, I could even take little notes here.
Well, for source or spirit guides, drop any expectations, how you're going to receive it. And you can do it in a meditative state, or you could just sit and talk to them like you would, your friends, because they're there, and you may not hear the answer right away at first. It may be later in the day, like I said, when your body's busy and your mind is just kind of wandering. And everyone is going to receive it differently. With me, I get this idea in my head, but I also get a little gut feeling that tells me it's not coming from me.
Nice. I love that distinction.
So that's what I usually tell my students is to practice. practice knowing what the difference between spirit, intuition, and imagination. They'll all feel different in your body. And once you know that, you'll know exactly where that information is coming from.
Right, right. So everyone will have their own way of receiving. For you, it's you. Is it kind of like a thought or like a voice in your head or just a knowing, but you feel it like
Yeah,
that?
I mean, I think you have to go with your clear, what clears are strongest for you. And mine is clear empathy, clear cognizance, and clear sentience. So I'm expecting it to come other ways, and they weren't my strongest ones.
Right, right. Beautiful. Beautiful. And so next we'll have Nilu share, and then we'll open up questions for both before we do a practice together or two together. Hey, Nilu.
Hi everyone. My name is Neelu. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I'm quite a recent developing evidential medium. I've just started about 10 months ago, but I've been asked if I can share some of the ways in which I connect to spirit and what I do for my chakras, etc. So I'll just share what I do. For those who may not understand what is sitting in the power, we can explain that later, but I sit in the power at least 3 times a week. I find that really helps me, and it helps me in grounding as well. I also feel it helps me in protection. And as and when I'm sitting in a practice circle or I'm learning something new, I just take in a couple of deep breaths and reach out to my spirit team, asking them for help. At the same time, during the request, I also ask my ascended masters, I ask my angels, my guardian angel, as well as my loved ones to help me bring forward spirit communicators for whoever I'm working with, that they can validate, that helps them to get some peace into their hearts and souls, etc. That's the sort of method I use. I then just close my eyes, and I think I'm very clairvoyant. The first thing that comes in front of my eyes is always the spirit of the person, the communicator. And I'm able to sort of understand what they look like, I can also get a sense of what they used to feel, what they enjoyed in their lives. For each communicator, it's a little different because each was a different person when they lived on earth. So some people like to talk a lot. Some people make you feel, a different sort of energy or a compassion or some pain that they may have had in some part of the body. So that's what I go through. I also like opening up my chakras, which I do a couple of times a week. I have 2 different methods that I use to open up each of my chakras. And at the end of the day, I close down my chakras. So that's something that I do. I find that very enjoyable as well. So those are a little bit of the things that I do. And as and when somebody else shows me something new, or I see somebody more experienced than me doing something different that I think, hey, this is a great idea, I try to implement that as well. And then obviously in this field of work, I believe that you should share whatever you know. Maybe you know a little, maybe you know a lot, but in a way, sharing is caring for me. So I like to share, though I'm not an expert, but that's just me. And I see a lot of my friends in this circle, which is making me nervous. But hello, everybody who knows me. That's from me.
Yeah. Well, the sharing is caring, and it's like from that, a way of taking that in is like it's not about you, it's about what you're offering, right? And so, I've I'm sorry that you're nervous, but there's really no need because that was an excellent share for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, excellent. All right, so for your technique, you do I love that you have some, it's almost like the prep work or just a practice. So it's not even just about that moment of connecting to source, but you're regularly sitting in the power. And I would love an explanation of that personally. And then
Okay.
you do that 3 times a week. You do the chakra, and I know you're going to share that and walk us through that, or at least one of your methods for that.
Okay.
And then you sit when you're actually connecting, you have this whole entourage, sounds like, between spirit,
Yes.
ascended masters, angels, guardian angels, archangels, loved ones, etc.
Yes.
What I personally do, if anyone wants another share, is I define spirit friends, and I have like that, like instead of saying that every single time, I'll have to add some to my list now that here's who's on your list. I just define what spirit friends means to me, and so when I call my spirit friends, it's like I don't have to run down bullet by bullet. But anyway, that's just if anyone wants it, try it. If not, no, don't. So yeah, so does that sound like a good takeaway from what you're sharing? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So I love that both techniques are so simple. Here we are, and we're open to the questions, and please let us know. I think I could look in the chat for questions versus the, what do you call it, the special question panel. So if you just want to drop your questions into the chat, I should be able to see that. And then just specify if it's for either or both, or if it's just one person that you have a question for. Or you can even unmute. I mean, I guess you can entertain my question first, which is, what does the sit in power look like?
Sitting in the power is actually a meditation. It's only about 10 minutes. It's a guided meditation by Tony Stockwell. That's the one that I listen to. There are several versions of sitting in the power, some longer, some shorter. I like this one, in which he takes you to the steps of, breathing in deeply, as well as grounding yourself, protecting yourself. He also talks about getting you covered in a protective sort of light, as well as the divine light coming and entering into your body and your soul. And then you just sit for a couple of minutes, breathing in the energy that's coming into you. And that's it. It's just a 10-minute short meditation of grounding, protection, and connecting, or opening up your connections to the spirit world.
It's also, after you do it so many times, you can actually do it within seconds. It doesn't have to be 10 minutes.
Yes.
You get used to
Yes.
it, it's seconds. You just go
Yes.
boom, 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 and it's done.
And now I'm
Yeah.
realizing, because I did take some workshops with Suzanne Giesman, and she does, sip, I think she calls it sip of the divine. So I think it is sit in the power. I think it's just her
It's
version
probably the
of
same
that.
thing.
Yeah. Oh, thank
Yes.
you. Yeah, it just
Yes.
clicked for me. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah.
For me, I had to ground and anchor myself, because there's one time in a mediumship class, I actually almost went into a channel. I was going to leave my body, and I realized I didn't anchor myself good enough.
Okay.
So you want to kind of keep your feet on the ground and your head in the clouds.
Oh, great expression. Love it.
And make sure you thank everyone for attending, the spirit guides,
Mhm.
and break the connection before the next person.
Right. Otherwise, they might stick around.
Yeah.
I've heard those stories too, where someone's like, "Why do I feel so depressed all of a sudden?" And
Or drained. When I do it, when I ground myself, I'm also bringing the energy down from the earth into my body. It's always being replenished, so I never feel drained.
I love that. Right? There's no reason to feel drained. Nilu, do you have thoughts on that? I'm going to ask everybody to mute. If you mute yourself, you'll retain the power to unmute. But I'm happy to unmute someone if they have a question. Yeah. Nilu, what are your thoughts on that, on energy drain versus always having that source? I just know I see a lot in our group, people talking or in other groups too, that it drains their energy, or to be empathetic, it just like takes a lot out of you. So I do love, Kathy, that you're saying that you're not drained when you do this kind of work, because you're connecting and letting it flow back through. So I think that's a great comment.
So even Erica has a question that she can see but can't hear.
Oh,
Yes.
I have a similar problem because I do rescue work. I have no problem hearing, seeing spirits that need help. But when it comes to doing a reading with someone, it was like playing charades. And I thought about it and couldn't figure it out. No one could figure it out. So finally I asked my guides, and they said, because you shouldn't be doing readings. You should be doing mentoring and rescue work.
Okay.
Said, why did you let me wonder about this for 3 or 4 months? Why didn't you just tell me? Because I never asked. It's like,
Okay.
so you have to ask. If you want help, you have to ask. They can't just step in.
Yeah, one more thing I would say is when a spirit feels that I don't know how long you've been clairvoyant, but when spirit feels that you have accomplished all that there is to be in that aspect, um, it helps you to start tuning into your other clairs, like clairaudience or claircognizant. So right now I feel you're clairvoyant. But you can always in your mind ask the question, and then once they give you a yes or no answer, I also don't get a long, detailed verbal answer. It's just that it comes to me telepathically, and sometimes I'm able to hear things, but mostly I can see as well as telepathically. That's how I get the answers. Um, as far as Megan's question is, I am not a channeler, so I wouldn't know how to answer that question. Perhaps Kathy can answer that question.
I've tried in the past. I've tried, and it's a lot of it is about letting go and giving up control. If you're, as far as deep trance goes, there's a light trance where you're conscious of what's going on. I have a friend that's a deep trance medium, and I was her gatekeeper. So, and I realized whenever I tried the deep trance, like, what am I doing? I'm not, first of all, I'm not going to remember anything. So what is it? How is it going to benefit me? And then I said, well, I don't really want to give up that control, because I don't know what's going to step in. So it's just a matter of, instead of just expanding into the room, expanding your consciousness
and giving them permission to like overlap with yours, so they can use you as that channel. Because yeah, I think there's a distinction, like you're saying, with the trance work, you're remembering it. And I believe Christie May said that's more theta brainwaves. So yeah, what we're doing in the mediumship circles with her is more getting more into alpha. And then theta is more for like the getting more into the trance and then channeling, right? And so channeling, you're right, you won't remember.
Well, deep channel, but I mean deep trance, but a light trance you will.
Right.
Just kind of stepping aside, but part of your consciousness is still leaving your body, even if it's just hovering. It's still kind of making room for that spirit to come in and come through. And it's also intention, setting intent beforehand.
And rules, like you're saying, of who's allowed.
Boundaries, rules. Make sure you have a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
A good gatekeeper.
I
And
think
sometimes helpful to have someone in the room the first few times you try it.
I think too, Megan, if you post that question in the Lightworker support group, you'll probably get answers from people who do that, or maybe we can even do another live Zoom and have a panel of people who are channeling or doing the deep trance work. Yeah. Yeah, but I think this is a great start. If you're looking to do that work, I would think this work would come first, or could come first.
Can I ask another quick question?
Yeah.
Is it considered still channeling if it's not a good spirit that comes through? Is that still channeling?
It could be. Are they talking to you, or are they coming through you and through your mouth? Oh, yeah, go ahead, Kathy.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Are they actually
Um,
moving you and
like-
your body to speak, or
Yeah, they used my body to speak. It wasn't a good one. Very dark, but it used my human to
okay, yeah,
communicate.
so in that case, that's why you need a good gatekeeper. So they can't come in, or just not allow it while you're not alone.
Yeah, learning when they step in has been a process. So that's what I was just wondering, like to channel for a better source would be more more enjoyable. But
I don't know why. I don't know why a darker entity would want to channel through you, but
it was communicating to my husband.
oh, okay.
So I think too, from earlier when you said you have to tell them to go, like even if you're doing a reading with the most pleasant spirit of all, you say like you must go now, right at the end, or anytime something like that happens, you call the shots as well. And I think some people, I mean, I know at least one person, he'll talk to the darkness because he knows like love is the most powerful of all, and
Right.
I've started having these dreams where I'm helping people cross over, and I have this like scary darkness in my ear saying all these bad things, like it's going to hurt my family and this and that. And I'm just like, I reject that. Love is the most powerful thing. I love you. Go to the light. And I was trying to cross over this woman and a child, and this dark voice was trying to stop me, and eventually the dark voice just stopped, and I was able to like work with those two.
Right. Yeah.
You have to understand that that's the biggest power. No matter how much darkness there is, picture a little flashlight. Like, so love is, you just have to stay in that, and you have your spirit guides and everyone else around you to help you stay in that. But if you could stay in that and you want to channel or talk to darkness, like you can send that to the light. Like, why not?
They may not want to leave your body after either.
Well, you still have the actually. I have another tip from someone I met, because I went to IAN's conference, and so I was talking to all these people, and he said instead of going down to the darkness to help cross people over, he like called them up to you. Like he's like, everything's here. Like all the dimensions are here. It's not like there's the
Yeah, I always see them as here.
yeah. So
And the darker ones, you can't force anyone into light because of free will.
right, yeah,
But that's why we have spirit teams for rescue mediums. We have specialized spirit teams. I have a rescue angel, and I have three. Some people call them spirit police. Some people call them rescue guides. And they'll come and take a spirit away. They haul them off, I think, to a healing space.
yeah. I
And
hear that over and over at the people at the near-death experiences, people doing this work over and over, like cleaning up their energy, or have the rules. Like Suzanne Giesman said, her guides don't let any of the negatives near her. Or if someone's coming through that did something bad, they're not allowed to talk. Like it's like interesting. So you get to call the shots is basically what I
right,
keep.
and be sure to shield yourself, protect
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. Neat.
If
All
you
right,
need to, ask for a better or a strong gatekeeper,
Yes.
bouncer.
Okay, so I'm scrolling through the chat. Don't be shy. If anyone has it, we'll do a few more moments of see if any questions come through. And then we could go to the experiential part of the day. Oh. Right. Oh, so which of you ladies would like to go first?
Well, Neil. Chance.
I can take you all through the steps that I do to open up my chakras, if that's of interest. I can do that.
Yeah.
Would anyone be interested? Okay.
Yeah. Getting lots of thumbs up
Okay.
on the cameras over there. So yeah.
Okay. So, as I said, I always first start out by thanking my guides and, the long list of names that I gave for helping me every day, ever since I've started this mediumship practice of mine. In order to open up my chakras, I take a few deep breaths. I inhale and hold my breath for 3 seconds, and then I exhale from my mouth slowly. If everybody, would you like to practice that, or shall I just tell you the steps?
Oh, please walk us through it. Yeah, please just tell us what to do. We're listening.
Okay. So I take in the 3 deep breaths with the intention of my chakras opening up. And it always starts from the last chakra. That's the chakra at the base. I close my eyes and I see a red rose at the root chakra. And this red rose opens up and it goes in a circular motion. It goes in a circular motion after opening up. And that is the opening of the root chakra for me. Once the root chakra has opened, I move to the next chakra. That's our orange chakra. Same steps that I do. I look at an orange rose and I see its petals opening up and it moving in a circular, clockwise motion. I do that. I just sit in that for a couple of minutes, like 1 minute or so, 1 to 2 minutes. Sometimes you can even feel that that chakra needs a little more time. So if that's the case, then I sit and just take a couple of more circular motions. Similarly, then I move to the yellow chakra, opening up of the yellow chakra, and it moving in clockwise motion, going round and round. I do spend a couple of more minutes always on my yellow chakra because I feel that that's from where I get all my mediumship abilities. Then I move to the heart chakra. That's the green chakra. I again see a green rose over there. I open up its petals in my mind and it moves in a clockwise motion. The heart chakra is also very important. Then I move to the throat chakra. Similarly, the same thing. I open up the throat chakra. I let it take a few clockwise motions. Then I move into the third eye, which is very important. And I open up the rose for the third eye and let it go through in a couple of clockwise motions. I take a couple of more circles for the third eye. And finally, for the crown chakra, once again, I open up the crown chakra and I take a couple of motions because the crown chakra is also very important to make sure that the crown chakra is open for us to get in the divine light. So that's the way I open up my chakras. That's what I do. And when you want to close down your chakras, you start the same way from the crown chakra, going all the way down to the root chakra, closing the petals and going in an anti-clockwise direction. I find this has helped me greatly.
I loved it. I really felt the energy. I felt all sensation, and I still feel my third eye just feels like it's like right now.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I take at least about 5 minutes or so to go through. Sometimes you can feel which chakra is slightly blocked. So I spend a little more time on that one. Yeah.
What everyone think?
Good. It's good.
Yeah, you could
Thank
take it
you.
with you wherever you go.
And the other thing you can do is each of these chakras, if you feel a blockage, remove. There's certain wounds that are attached to different chakras, also different physical things attached to each one. So you can release some of those negative ones and but replace them with something more positive. So you're kind of recalibrating them and balancing them out.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's
One more
why
quick,
you, oh sorry, I was gonna say that's why you
sorry.
stay extra at certain ones is
Yeah.
that's kind of why you tend to have to focus extra on certain.
Yes, yes. And one quick thing I just remembered when I did my first class ever in mediumship, we were told about breathing in and breathing out and taking out all the negativity, bad thoughts, etc., that we've had for that day. And just before connecting to spirit, imagine that you're in a room and there is this little box over there which has all your clairs written on it, and you switch on each of these clairs and then connect to spirit. And then at the end, when you've finished your readings or your practice or whatever, you go back mentally and just switch off the clairs for that day in this little imaginary box.
Someone just shared with me a few days ago about when they're opening up their chakras with sitting in the power, they actually, when they get to certain chakras like their throat, they use the intention that they're able to speak with spirit more clearly, and their third eye, and then they can see more clearly. And
Yes.
I might try that next time and see if that intention strengthens anything.
Yes. Yeah, that's good.
Wonderful. So that was very straightforward, but as always, if you have questions on that chakra opening practice and closing at night practice, let's put them in the chat. I'm not a visual person. Like when I close my eyes, I can't imagine stuff, but I was able to like imagine that. And so I thought that was really super helpful, Nilu. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great, great, great. I know we have about looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 people came in. Oh, someone just left. Probably I was going to explain to the people who came through that we're at the part of the day where we're practicing. So if you just got here, that's okay. We're going to be walked through next by Kathy and showing us how to connect to source her way.
Okay, so maybe we'll start with grounding. So if you're sitting, keep your feet flat on the floor. If you're out in nature, that would be wonderful, but you know, we're not always there. So imagine having a big root coming from your root chakra and one down each leg. This gives you a little bit more stability. Let it go down as deep as it can into the earth. Just keep going down and down and down, and let them find something to anchor on. So you're rock solid. You're not going anywhere. And then imagine bringing up that energy from Earth, from Gaia, into your body and filling your body. And now turn your attention towards the universe and bringing the light down from the universe. And that's when I open up my chakras. And I let the two energies mingle. The one from the universe is knowledge, spiritual knowledge and protection too. And then I use that energy, the intermingled energy, to surround my body in a protective bubble. And then with a crust over it, but it's kind of a mesh, so it's still, energy can still pass through it. Just the negative energy can't. But we can still sense things and see things, and that it's just that other things outside of us will not affect us. We won't be able to absorb that. And then you just expand that energy out of your body and into the room. You invite your spirit guides and spirit team. And I also believe that before the reading even begins, spirit already knows who's going to come through and talk. So you might want to invite whoever's going to come in. The sitter probably already has someone in mind. So connect with them. And after you're done, I just ask questions. But I like getting that one piece of information. What is that one thing that this person will recognize you from? Give me one piece. I don't want 15 minutes of evidence. You know, just give me that one thing, and then we can move on to the messages. And so a lot of times they'll give me a nickname. They'll give me something. Okay, now we know who we're talking to, and now we can go on to the message. And when that's done, I thank them all for coming. I break the connection. The other thing is, don't overanalyze things. Don't go into your head and analyze things. Just if you need clarification, ask spirit. Once you start going into your head, you start weakening or breaking the connection to spirit. And so when it's done, I thank them all for coming. And I will sometimes, if I'm doing multiple people, I'll shake off some of the unwanted energy from other people. So I'm just cleansing my body and the energy. And if I'm doing other readings, I don't close my chakras quite yet until after the last person.
Yeah.
But, so it's really easy. You can take as much time or as little time as you want.
Thank you so much. I'm definitely going to use that personally. I loved it. The simplicity, but it makes so much sense too, right? And I love your tip to just get that one gem of evidence right off the bat and then get to the combo.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I like it too. I mean, so many where they're the person, okay, I know it's my mother, we already established this, so why do I need another 10 minutes of who she is, proving who she is? We already know. Let her speak. I think it's disrespectful to the spirit coming through that they spent all this energy coming to talk to the loved one and they're not allowed to. They're just giving evidence.
Yeah, you need that nugget. And even in Christie May's like circles, someone came on and she's like, oh, I have like a grandma energy here. She's playing with your lights. That morning, a light bulb that's been dead in my fridge for like over a year was flickering at me. And I'm like, oh, that's my grandma. And we didn't, like to your point, Kathy, like she didn't need to go down an extra list of stuff.
Right.
You had me.
But in other circles, they say just evidence and no messages.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. Practicing getting the evidence.
I mean, that's like cutting them off, saying, okay, okay, we established it's grandma. Bye, see you. Thank you. Next.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So I love that both of you were the experts today because we could almost even combine what you're both doing, right? And after you said you have the roots and then you go up every chakra, you have the connection from the universe and Gaia, it's almost like we could even picture those flowers opening too, and so such a perfect match.
Yeah, I'll use a flower too sometimes.
Oh, cool.
I don't see them spinning or anything. I just see them opening and glowing like a big
Okay.
ball light and expanding that. And then when I close down, I see them go down back down to a little bud. And that's usually what I do at night.
So I'll ask this, why do you shut them at night, or why do you close them at night?
Because when we sleep, we're more vulnerable.
Hmm.
So you want to shut down, and you can't. We shouldn't be on all the time.
Yes.
You know, just like spirit doesn't belong in our dimension all the time, we don't belong in theirs all the time.
So if I'm noticing I have my best connections while I'm sleeping, I had been into lucid dreaming a lot, and so now I think I'm doing something else in my dreams, and maybe even going to focus more on doing that light worker work in the night versus the day. So would I keep my chakras open then, and so I could connect at night?
You could do it either way. You could set it with the intention of only doing light work.
Oh, I gotcha. So shut them during the day.
A lot of it is an intention, and a lot of it is some people are bothered by negative stuff in their dreams or nightmares. So sometimes it's good to shut down, and also have a nighttime gatekeeper to watch over you. So if you do astral travel, it's always good to have a guide.
Yep.
Travel guide with you. No pun. Well, pun intended, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll share something that really helped me. It came from Shaman Doric, and he was saying it in the sense of like he crosses people over, and some of the entities you have that are scary to us, they're not even bad entities. They're just confused. They don't know they're dead. So, but anyway, he started just singing one time, "When there's fright, send it to the light." It was the silliest thing, and I was like, oh, I'm going to use this in my lucid dream, because you're calling forth sometimes shadows and this into lucid dream. At least that's what I was doing. And so I was like, oh, if I remember this when I'm in a lucid dream, it's going to help me not be so scared. So take it or leave it if that helps you. It's helped me so much. It was just like this very simple, almost like Genie from Aladdin singing voice booming. So when there's fright, send it to the light, because we are the light workers, and we are the light is the most powerful. And if you can remember that, then nothing can touch you.
Right.
So cool.
And we're also, all the power we need is within us. We don't need sage. We don't need tools. We don't need tarot. A mentor years ago told me if I can read with cards, I can read without them. And he was right. He's actually become one of my guides now. In a meditation that I was doing, he was on a beach during a meditation, and he's sipping on a Mai Tai, sitting on the beach. He was dressed kind of like a Hawaiian tourist, but that's so he was totally flamboyant like that.
I love it. I love it. Yes, so Erica says absolutely, Kathy. Yeah. So cool. All right. So everybody again, feel free to have questions. This was the very first Zoom live, and we will definitely do some more. I put polls in the group to see what topics people want to talk about, and then we set up Zooms for them. And so as for today, I think the idea of doing one of these panels with channeling would be great, and get some panelists who do the deep trance channel, it sounds like. But also would love to know what should we, and this is from a facilitator standpoint, what should we keep doing, stop doing, start doing, right? Like this was the structure that we tried out, have the panelists speak, do the questions, do hands-on, give the feedback, we liked it that way, or whatever your feedback is. So basically keep doing, stop doing, start doing, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. I know my dogs are making noise, stuff like that. Oh, the rescue mediumship. I want to learn that too. Actually, Kathy, would you be open if we do like a panel on the rescue
Oh,
medium?
sure. Yeah. And actually, Kara, who was here, she's a rescue medium too.
Oh, good. We'll have to tag her. Nice, Megan. Great idea.
Actually, I run a indirect rescue mediumship circle every month.
Oh,
So it's where people can just come in, ask questions, get more information, and then we usually practice with somebody. But I think we're changing that to having some other rescue mediums come in, and we're going to actually work on cases.
oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay, I need to connect on this. I think that's where I'm called to go.
could be.
Yeah, like, yeah. Great, great, great. Erica says, keep doing it. I like the panels and the questions. Awesome. Megan says, me too. Great. And the group will be, the recording will be shared definitely in the group. I'm not sure if Christy has intention to post it anywhere else, but definitely in the group for sure.
I'd like to put it on YouTube just for educational.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. I
Lead
mean,
it back to the group and lead it to whoever else, wherever else they want it.
Yeah, that's all. I'll ask her because she has a channel. I have a channel. She said, put it there.
I have a couple.
Right, exactly. We'll make the Zoom recording downloadable. We can all post it. Okay, great. So Megan asking, will there be any speakers on working with dark energy? I'm gonna say yes, because I'm happy to set that up. As like I said, this was the very first one. I was thinking my original thought was like 2 a month, but you could let me know too. What we do is we find the panelists and then I send out a little voting Zoom, not a voting thing. It's called Doodle. It's a little calendar vote to see when the panelists are available. Then we invite you. So then you could catch the recording if you can't make it. All right, because we have people all over the world. That's been my strategy. Oh, good, good, good.
Make it in general as far as the different types of spirits.
Yes.
Do you mind repeating that? I was reading the chat when you
maybe instead of just focusing on dark spirits, make it different types of spirits. There's different levels. So maybe do that. And the ones that haven't crossed over and the ones that are a lot of them are just angry, upset because they were angry, upset in life.
Yeah.
If they were a jerk in life, they're going to be a jerk in the afterlife too. Let's face it. We don't change because we die. And actually the emotional body is the outermost layer of the soul. So when you come across the spirit, you're going to feel that more intensely. So if they're angry, people get scared because they don't understand. It's just someone who's angry. It's not someone necessarily who's negative or bad.
Yeah.
They just need a little counseling.
The woman, I forget her name, but I think it's Marianne someone. She was the inspiration of that show, The Ghost Whisperer. Yes. I bought her book, but I didn't read it yet. But it was called As Alive, So Dead. And Kathy, exactly like what you're saying. Like some ghost was like just grumping at her about the neighbors or something like this.
Oh, right? Yeah, I've watched the show.
No, yeah. So anyway, but the other thing I love about that show is no matter how scary the spirit is at first, as she's working more and more, it just unravels back into like, they're there for some loving reason or some loving message.
Oh, absolutely. And you shouldn't show fear because fear is giving away your power, giving away your free will. You have nothing to fear from them. So there's no reason to be afraid. Right.
Yeah. So being able to stay in that love, then nothing could touch you. But if you get fearful, then you're inviting it in. So I see another question about where do you vote? So I put out just on Facebook, the Lightworker support group. If you're not in the Lightworker support group, I just asked everyone, what do you want to learn? And I saw that all the topics that came through, and the most popular one was this one. So that's why we did this one first. And I would love to do it, probably about twice a month. And we'll just keep getting those expert panelists. And it seems like the setup of structure worked out, and anytime we can make things better, I'm more than happy to. Oh yeah, the angrier spirits. Yeah. Like I think you could all see the chat. So that's where the voting was, very informal. I'm open to the ideas as well. So I'm in the group, Jessica, Jake, you could tag me. But from today, we got the connecting with different types of entities, or would you say that entities or spirits?
Yes.
Then the channeling or trance, which is reminded me, there's a lady named Daniela Hill, and she's a medium and Reiki worker. She has Udemy classes, which are very affordable. She always says things like only love can enter in, only love can exit out. And so as you're starting to sit, you're doing that. But she does have a trance course. So when there's a Udemy sale, it could probably be like $13, but she's actually really good. She's really good. Daniela Hill. I think it's Daniela, Daniella
Oh.
Hill. Yeah, she does good stuff in there. So spirit is love and light. Like my personal belief. So Judy says, so spirit is love and light. Like the foundation of everything is love. Like conscious awareness is a loving energy. And we hear that from all of our expert readers. We hear that from people who had near-death experiences. And that's why I say, like, when you could ground yourself in that one truth of love, nothing could touch you. Like nothing could touch you. So, and then to Kathy's point about the energies and the emotional energies, like you want to call that energy back to love. You want to send that entity into the light. You want to, if there's spirit workers, you call them what, the police or whatever you call them, they're going to clean up the energy of those other spirits. So it's always about calling back to love. It's always, and then you're less scared when you do these things.
Oh yeah, when you have all the
Yes.
power.
Exactly.
We
Yeah.
have top authority in our dimension. So
Yeah. So I'm just.
But maybe when we do anything with darker, maybe talk about protection.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the protection is just to make you still feel in that love energy. But just like you said, you could do it with.
It's also for people, because we're all empathic. I believe everyone's psychic, empathic, and mediumistic. If we aren't mediumistic, we couldn't pray to God.
Yes.
Connect with our guides. That takes mediumship. So I believe we have all of these. But some people are just more sensitive than others.
Right.
Like when you go out in public, like my son is on medication because he's has high anxiety issues. And I believe it's because he doesn't protect himself when he goes out in public. His nervous system gets totally overwhelmed. Gotcha. He's absorbing all these energies and taking them on as his own without realizing it.
I gotcha. So it's almost like a shield, like closed for business. Yeah.
It's just like a barrier, like, only good can enter.
Yes, I like that, because it's like in essence, we don't need the protection because we have this power, but we don't need to constantly be like, you don't want to hear every radio station blasting at once. It's like, no,
right.
Tune into this now, shut it off then. Perfect. Thank you so much.
And you also want to don't want to take any energy home, because later on you may just start grumping and bitching, and it's like, where is this coming from? It's because it came from somebody else, not yours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's hard. You just don't realize that it's someone else's until you start saying, this doesn't feel right.
Yes. Yep. That I've heard that happening for a lot of mediums and light workers, for sure.
And there's a woman that I spoke to on Facebook. She even brings her own water to work because the water cooler absorbs the negativity of her coworkers. So it's like, really, I would have never thought of that.
You know what? I wouldn't have thought of it years ago, but
all you have to do. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, with bringing your own water, really, if you got water from a fountain and you filled your cup up, all you have to do is sit for a moment with your water and put your own intention into it. And you don't need to bring water from home, in my opinion, because you're putting your own intention and clearing it.
I agree. And the analogy that you could think of, because I wouldn't have thought of this years ago either. There's some videos on YouTube. If you Google like a woofer with sand, and you watch the music vibration and the sand turns into stars or turns into circles or turns into all these different patterns, then the audio waves make the sand. Like that's what our intentions are doing to the water and to everything around us. And they actually have done studies on this, the Institute of Noetic Science, the power of intention in double-blind experiments of people putting the good intentions into tea, into chocolate, into water, and then which plants grew better. And the people didn't even know what was in the water they're watering the plants. So I agree 1,000,000%, Megan, that you can, call it back to love, right? Like you're changing its energy yourself. Yeah.
And also, we're
That's even like when you shower, like you're taking on maybe city water, which isn't so great, but you sit there and you call, and because you are absorbing that water, you just put your own intention into it. So for me, that's what I do: sit in the shower and I say, heal my body with this water. This is what I want from it, and cleanse it from all its negative energies that are within me.
the shower is a good way to get rid of that unwanted energy. It's a way of cleansing your energy of anything unwanted and that doesn't serve you anymore. Just wash it away.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm a big lake person. I use like lakes speak to me, they heal me. So water is a main source for my own regaining my own power within me.
Yeah, light is big also because spirits they don't see our physical bodies, they see us as light. They recognize us by our vibration and our frequency. And that's, if you notice, if you start connecting with your guides or even loved ones in spirit, you start recognizing who they are by how they feel. So that's why light is so important, because that's what they see. I ran a spirit circle back in the 80s and that with my friend, the trance medium, and that's what it was for, educational purposes. So we could ask spirits what their experience was. What was it like for them on the other side? We did have a woman that had no clue she was dead. She was still dancing at the ball during the Civil War.
Wow. Yeah. Fascinating. All right. Well, Nilu and Kathy, thank you so much for being our expert today. And thank you everybody who joined and
Thank
showed
you.
interest.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for doing this. Yes. Okay.
Take good care, everyone, and keep a lookout for the video. Join the Lightworker. It's called the Lightworker Support Group on Facebook. So if you found us some other way today, join that Facebook group. We'll keep posting about when there's going to be more, and we'll take your ideas for future panels as well.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
You have a good day.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.